Waar ik quiet, took meeting with consultant, Kukpi7 Darrel Draney exposed. Hello to everybody here. Welcome my family, Chief Darrel Draney. I'd like to thank you for joining me in another update about what's happening around Skeetchestn. Our field crews and community members have been out on the land and doing a lot of work, as I showed you in our last video. But a lot of the ways that we protect the commute are done in meeting rooms and Zoom calls, in negotiations and agreements with government and ministries, large corporations, and neighboring First Nation bands. The step that we have taken in these areas has many benefits for our land, our community, and our future. One common topic for negotiations is lands, and we have made several steps in this regard. Internally, a land use plan was created, and we established zoning and development bylaws to provide a framework for building in the community. We also negotiate with Indigenous Service Canada on land issues as well. We were given additional land across the lake from Savannah in exchange for the right-of-way lost by last year's Deadman-Invited road realignment. And the administrative part of this additions to reserve process is nearly finalized. We opened a new specific claim on BC Hydro that will begin a 3-year process to complete. We continue working on our Ronnie Craig Ranch additions to reserve, where we need to consider many encumbrances on the land that include industry right-of-ways. For a long time, we have argued to have Skeetchestn's specific claim to our traditional fishing grounds at Hahume Lake recognized. This year, we restarted negotiations towards these goals with Canada. 2022 has seen the continuation of negotiations with CN Railway and Ministry of Transportation to improve safety and access for the community. We often negotiate to ensure that our voice is heard when the government makes decisions on resource management. One major development this year was the formation of Salvage Guidelines. Foresters, cultural heritage experts, archaeology and wildlife teams took many months to consider the after effects of the 2021 wildfires. Looking at how the Sparks Lake and Tremont Creek fires had affected the territory. The final document provides recommendations for all individuals, woodlot owners, and companies who want to harvest timber in the areas that were affected by the fires, encouraging the removal of burnt wood and the preservation of green, healthy trees. The Ministry of Forests is reviewing this document, and we will continue to work with them going forward. But our forested areas need more than just a reduction in timber harvesting. We need to help it to heal and regrow the trees that were lost. We have successfully negotiated funding to assist with this and are in the planning stages to order and plant millions of seedlings over the next 7 or 8 years. Using traditional and scientific evidence to ensure that we are creating a healthy environment to replace what was lost in the fires. Crews will also complete the cleanup of the fallen trees, repair the fences that were burned or removed for emergency access, and rehabilitation of the lands to combat erosion. This is all due in part to the negotiations and agreements that we have made this year. Kukpi7 is one organization that works closely with Skeetchestn and our Skeetchestn neighbors in government-to-government negotiations. This year, we collaborated with BC Ministries in an effort to transform the way forestry is managed in our territory. One critical part of this plan is the Collective Forestry Agreement, which gives 6 QS signatory communities more power and authority when having discussions about managing the timber supply. These negotiations are using a ground-up approach with the communities and collective campfires deciding on the focus, direction, and priorities they hold most valuable in these negotiations. In 2023, we will continue working on this agreement by creating a path towards forestry transformation. QS will provide valuable support for Skeetchestn's forestry work and build a connection with our neighbors with a common goal. With QS, we work closely with our neighbors Kamloops and Simcoe and have been negotiating with the Ministry of Forests at an apportionment table to gain more control over a greater portion of timber that grows in our territory. Our team submitted our apportionment plan to the government. It has been sent to the Chief Forester's office, and we're waiting on their response, and then we will have further engagement to produce a final agreement. With our recommendations, we intend to manage the timber we harvest in a more sensitive ways than in the past, increasing selection logging and using modified equipment that will result in better stand health and long-term outcomes. We re-signed agreements with Fortis, Enbridge, Pembina, and Trans Mountain. The community has been asking us to make sure that the black snake that runs through our territory is safe for our people and the commute. These agreements ensure that we have open communications with these companies and we are able to observe the system, identify problems, and make sure they are fixed. Through many meetings, phone calls, and field visits, we have built a connection that is based on trust, respect, and genuine desire to work together. We have been pleased to find that our industry partners are interested in integrating our traditional knowledge and methods into the way they do business. With these partnerships, we are able to access places and equipment that we could not on our own. We also receive employment opportunities, training for staff, and assistance on community infrastructure projects. In order to take on these contracts and agreements, Skeetchestn needed to have a team that had skills, equipment, and experience to do the work. That is why we created Kukpi7 Utility Services in 2021. By providing skilled services and top-of-the-line equipment each project CUS takes on gives industry partners more reason to choose us as their subcontractor of choice. We are confident that this newly created and fully band-owned company will do great things for Skeetchestn. They employ several Squamish individuals, and all new positions are posted to Skeetchestn's community. One such benefit happened this spring when we were preparing for potential flooding. Enbridge worked with our emergency planning team and CUS crews to create the escape route that runs along the east side of the valley. This road could be vital if floods wash out the bridges or roads leading to Highway 1, or if highway closures affect travel to Kamloops and its services. We have been planning this project for many years and are very happy that it is finally complete. This year, CUS worked with Fortis in Kenneth Cartwright Park and with Enbridge to secure the Deadman River banks for pipeline crossings. We also have a significant contract with Enbridge where crews will complete a valve and line replacements between the school and the Benchland subdivision. This project will provide great benefits to both Enbridge and our community, but please be aware that the project of this size may cause traffic delays and safety concerns and other issues. CUS' reputation is already growing throughout the industry, and with this continued momentum, they are sure to get more jobs and contracts in the future. We are already planning for this increase in workload by hiring new staff to manage finances and operations, as well as upgrades to the facilities so that we can better meet the needs of our partners. A large part of our negotiating team is SNRC's longtime CEO, Mike Anderson. Since the 1990s, Mike has worked alongside our Chief of Counsel and other key staff to ensure that our rights are upheld and protected. He has played a key role in forest health and ecosystem security, developing policies and guidelines for timber harvesting, fire recovery, and wildlife management that will benefit us for years to come. He also expanded economic growth for Skeetchestn and was involved in the development of our value-added workshop, mill, and roundhouse building design. But all good things must come to an end. Mike is planning to retire from full-time work this fall after more than 25 years of working with Skeetchestn. In the meantime, he has been working closely with Burke Nesgen, who will take over the role as CEO when Mike steps away. I hope to introduce Burke to you in the future update. For now, I hope you will all join me in thanking Mike for his long service to our community. He will always be welcome at Skeetchestn, and his contributions will be missed greatly. That brings me to the end of today's update. I thank you once again for spending some time listening to me share all these activities with you. Next month, I will be back with news from our school and health department, including several new buildings and spaces that will help us all. Till next time, you all take care.